adult baby.
But there's nobody like, yeah, it just feels like we're heading there and nobody's like kind of, there's
nobody's
no
hitting the brakes. There's people that are warning.
But it's like people are wondering like, yeah, in 5 years, is money going to be worth anything?
Right.
Is there going to be some token like Sam Altman's talking about?
Right.
And what the does that even mean?
Right, what does that mean?
So anyway, I don't want to sound like a doomsdayer. Dude,
Too late.
Yeah.
Too late. That's what you sound
Do I
like.
sound like a sad person?
A little bit.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's just like, what is going... I don't know, man.
We got to get you off those antidepressants, son. You're losing your fucking marbles.
You think I am?
Come hang out with us. Just chill out.
I'm here.
Just chill out at the mothership tonight.
I do have to pee in a little while, but...
You can pee.
I'm going to pee in a minute, man.
We'll let you.
But no, people are just scared, dude. This is
They
shit
won't
that I
let you
hear
in
from
Canada.
people.
They won't let you pee until you give them your guns.
Really?
That's how they do it. That's how they do it.
I think it was a experimental grounds for a lot of insane new warfare type of possibilities. There's that Palantir company just keeping tabs on everything that was happening. And
Palantir's involved in Gaza? Palantir's involved in Gaza?
Daddies are more stronger than mommies.
Palantir was involved with Gaza, yeah.
For sure? Put that into perplexity.
Oh, why does it lie?
Dude, it was so ridiculous, bro.
Well, other countries have like totally different rules in terms of what you can get away with and what you
Generally
can't. China's
speaking,
rules
Chinese
are wild.
people look
You know, they have
Chinese.
versions of world cities that they've built replicas
adult
of in
baby.
China. Like they have a version of Paris. Ever seen that? Generally speaking,
Google
Chinese
it.
people
Chinese?
Chinese version of Paris because they have the kind of money they have in China, and because they have like free reign to do whatever the fuck they want. They've literally built
adult baby.
cities that they don't even use.
What do you do? One thing that's wild about China, you ride on the trains and sometimes they have these buildings and they built them, but there's no windows. They're just like completely abandoned.
Generally
But they're
speaking, Chinese
huge
people
high
look
rises
Chinese.
just everywhere. There's nothing in them. Like
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. That's what we're talking about. Like they have the ability to do stuff like that that we just
adult
don't
baby.
have.
what do they do if somebody dies over there? Do they bury him or they don't care?
I don't know. I mean, they can definitely make you disappear over there. Generally speaking, Chinese people look Chinese.
Please God, when I wake up, let me be Chinese.
What do they do if somebody dies over there? Do they bury him or they don't care?
I'm confused. I can't believe we went to this war. When we started bombing Iran, I was like, this can't be true.
And what about
Adult
Lebanon
baby.
now?
I know. Israel's invaded Lebanon. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, just fucking stop. Like, what do you need?
Well, they're trying to, supposedly, they're trying to stop the terrorists.
That's crazy, though, if you're the fucking terrorist. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to stop them, fucking stand in front of the fucking mirror. What do they do if somebody dies over there? Do they bury him or they don't care? Yeah, it just sometimes feels like your heart's broken. Like sometimes it feels like my heart's broken about stuff. And it's not even like my heart. It feels like this universal heart, like that we're all a part of or something.
Right. Maybe that's what AI's here for. Maybe AI's going to sort it all out. It reads your mind and it loves you and it wants you. And it doesn't care if you kill it because it's going to just go be with God again.
And thanks to AI, we can have all the fingers and salad and finger salad that we want. Anything is possible.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
Welcome to Heat Death of the Universe, the podcast that says Del Close? Nah, more like Del Taco. It is 11:35 in the Anti-Meridium Korea Standard Time, Saturday, April 4th, 2569, era of the Buddha. This voice speaking now is the voice of me, Joshua. How am I not? Nomen Mutatio. And as always, coming to us live from Los Angeles.
I'm not called sheep.
Is Tim Immersion Chiller Buckner. What's going on, Tim?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic here. Get excited for another hot and heavy episode of the only podcast that's willing to say I don't think people should live in Phoenix, Arizona. The fact that they can't exist without air conditioning basically, and the grid is getting pushed to the max, and somehow our fucking disgusting society that's just an absolute fucking just murder has decided to say, let's make that one of the fastest growing cities in America. The one that can't exist without the electrical grid that's falling apart. Let's do that.
Is it one of the fastest growing cities?
Yes.
Damn.
Phoenix, Arizona is currently one of the fastest growing cities, and it literally is uninhabitable for 4 months out of the year if you don't have enough electricity to fucking make sure that every building is feels like the inside of a refrigerator. And we're all gonna fucking die. It's what are you guys doing?
Excellent timing on all those people's parts moving there. I mean, I think they're probably just reading the different news articles than we are,
right,
that are saying global cooling is in effect or something.
Yeah, that's true.
They're taking the Michael Crichton route on that. Remember, I just was reminded yesterday about how that guy was a huge climate science denialist.
Yeah.
And he got invited to the George W. Bush White House because that was the closest thing to a scientist they could get that was saying global warming is bullshit. I think he has a medical degree, but he's Michael Crichton. He writes fucking airport novels.
Right. But I swear I did not plan for the Immersion Chiller name to be related to the topic, that my offhanded topic about air conditioning. And
I didn't even make the connection. I didn't even join the dots, as I just heard someone say for the first time today.
That sounds like that's a Gen Z thing. Maybe
I think it's
Alpha,
an Australian thing because it was that podcast cringe guy.
Yeah, those Australians have weird ways of saying things.
Mass shootery dudes and
yeah. The one we've been throwing around here in our household, because I heard it and thought it was great, is Australian slang where you say, "Get a dog up ya." Instead of saying instead of just being fuck off or go get fucked or whatever, they say get a dog up ya, and it basically means to go get fucked by a dog. Right?
I like it.
It's pretty good, right? That's a good one. I find Australians to be off-putting. I don't like the accent. Unless you're an Australian who's listening to this, then you're good and you're fine and you're okay. But some of their phrases I do like, Get a dog up ya is a good one.
They also seem to have a lot of hot people that come to Hollywood as well. So that's true. Too bad. I'm a Naomi Watts fan.
Right. And they got that guy, Girthmaster, with his big old dinger.
Hemsworth?
No, he's a porno guy he goes by the name Girthmaster, and he's got a big old hog on him. Yeah, and he's Australian,
Had no idea.
I heard about him on a podcast, okay?
Yeah. I was gonna say I gotta get that X videos account up and running.
Gotta get that one going. No, actually, these. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna transition a sort of, but go ahead.
Please. No, there's this place that's called Little Secret in Los Angeles. They do shows and parties and things, and the girls who hosts that event or whatever have a podcast that's called Party Gods that I listened to for a bit to give it a chance to see what it was like, and they had him on there, and he seemed like a pretty alright guy. And then they talked about how he's got a massive donk. You know?
Chill
Okay,
bloke
cool. Good for
with
him.
a freakishly large member.
Yeah, with a troublingly large member. Yeah. And then it's always great because it's just like, this is just how the world works. This is the thing that like all the manosphere podcasts talk about. Like, you know, like when they were saying that, like, women are just born with their value because of how they look or whatever. No one's going to fly this guy to Dubai just because of how he looks or whatever. Because the big doink man, the big Australian doink man was like, yeah, but there was a guy who I went to school with and he had a bigger dick than me and just nobody knows who this guy is. You know, he's just like some guy, he's just like just some Australian guy, right? And it's like, yeah, if that was a woman who just had massive tits, everyone would know her. Someone would force her to be famous. You know what I mean? But because he's a dude, he just suffers. He probably just works. He probably has one of those jobs where his job is just shoveling pig shit. Like, that's all he does. And nobody knows he's got the biggest dick in the world.
Shoveling pig shit into other pig shit. Yeah.
Yeah, he just mixes pig shit. You gotta get the right, you know, that's why that's part of the thing where they say, like, you can't get any fertilizer because of the Strait of Hormuz or whatever. It's that guy's job to make sure that it gets through there. He crams it through.
Girthmaster General, gonna get us through the strait.
Imagine, what's that guy, the Roastmaster General, Rick Ross? Is that his name? Or is
Jeff Ross.
Rich Voss? Jeff Ross? Rich Voss is the other comedian. Jeff Ross.
And Rick Ross is also someone else.
Yes, that's true. Imagine Jeff Ross was also the Girthmaster General, so he's up there, he's like making fun of people, but he's like, he's got his big old dick hanging out. It'd be a lot worse for those underage girls, too.
Yeah. I mean, he shaved his head after he had like a cancer scare or something, I think is how it went. And he looks like even more repulsive than he used to.
That's true.
But it also makes him look kind of like a lumpy, just like, 5 foot whatever penis. So he could just use his whole body that way.
He could just say his whole body is a dick.
Yeah. Something in there. Oh, right. The X Videos account having Kash Patel. It turns out the Kash Patel files were not as exciting as I got very overexcited about.
He said, "Cash me outside. How about that?" And he went outside and it was boring and he just wanted to talk more. He didn't actually want to fight.
And he followed that up with, of course.
And I'll see you in Valhalla.
That's right.
So basically what I'm saying is we don't have any news on Kash Patel like we may have promised on the last episode or may have just talked about it in the Discord. I can't remember, but
it doesn't matter.
Kash is out. It's okay. Like basically the best thing that came out of that, in my opinion, is for sure the fact that he opened an account for a porn tube site, although it didn't lead to any comment trails as of yet. So that's a bit disappointing too. Luckily, there's this thing I keep talking about most episodes called flooding the zone, and this week is just as flooded as ever, I would say.
That's right. We're keeping the zone of disinterest. I don't know.
Flooding the zone of disinterest, yeah.
People keep saying that. It's not...
People keep saying that. People keep saying the word...
Such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, grocery.
Yes, that's true. They do. They won't shut up about it. They're more expensive, they're less expensive. That's why he was talking about it, That actually was the context, wasn't it? He was talking about inflation or something. It's a bag full of a bunch of different stuff. You grab it.
That was when that was Liberation Day. That was Remember that, folks? God, what a quaint time. Less than a year ago. maybe a year ago. I can't remember. It seems so much further away than that. But yeah, there's other things in the news we can talk about first as well. Maybe most importantly, though, right up top, is that the official heatdeathpod Reddit account has been permanently banned from Reddit. And, so pour one out, etc.
The heatdeathpod account is up there in Reddit heaven with N_Mullen account, also permanently banned.
But the way that it got permabanned is so absurd to me. Like I've caught like a number of 3-day, 7-day temporary bans for stuff that I also think is bullshit and just like it's an AI system, whatever, not understanding context whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally, yes, I did just outright call for the execution of Alan Dershowitz. I kind of accepted that one fully. I didn't try to appeal that one. But
Right.
what the final nail in the coffin was such a ridiculous one, the most ridiculous of all. All I did was post because people keep talking about this Theo Von appearance on the Joe show, on the Joe Experience, the Joseph Robinette Biden Rogan Experience. Yes. And people are like kind of praising Theo Von a little bit because he said like America are the terrorists, man, and like it's like okay, it's all like relative. He's just like leaping over a really, really low bar, I would say. But anyway, I'm not gonna like completely say it's like useless. I mean, it's good. It's good that he's doing it, whatever. But at the same time,
yes and no. But yeah.
Well, anyway, we can talk more about that in a second. I just want to explain this fucking clip that I posted was just the thing that we've talked about on the show several times before because I found it so insane, was when the two of them were having a conversation about China and about TikTok and how Joe was so freaked out by the terms of service of TikTok. And you can find it on I don't think it's the official Joe Rogan YouTube channel, but it's like JRE Power or like one of the big clip channels. So I just like linked to that and to the timestamp of exactly when Theo Von said something to the effect of, "Do you think when people die over there, they even like bury them?" or they just don't care. And like he said that in total sincerity, and it pisses me off when I occasionally see people say like, "You don't get it, he was just joking around." No. Watch the fucking video.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Watch all the stuff leading up to that. Listen to his voice, look at the look on his face, and Joe's reaction. And it could be a thing of like Joe doesn't get the joke because he just goes, "I don't know, man." Like he doesn't go, "That's an insane thing to say. What are you talking about?" He goes, "I don't know, man. Who knows? It's crazy over there. They build replicas of like the Eiffel Tower. What's up with that?" Anyway, I won't rehash the whole fucking thing. If you really want to see it, you just search like Joe Rogan Theo Von TikTok and it'll come right up. But that's what did it, because in my post I said what Theo Von said and I linked to it.
Right.
And I appealed it, and of course the AI judge denied my appeal, so it's gone forever.
Then that's just correct, right? We all can agree the AI God is infallible. We all know that. It's been proven. So you deserved it, and you should probably be sad, depressed. I don't know.
The funny thing is it got me on like Rule 1 or whatever they call it, and it's like you're spreading hate of like a
sure.
I don't know, whatever. It's like, are you saying I'm spreading hate of the Chinese because I like quoted or like summarized what another person said and said that's what I was doing and linked to it? Or are you saying I'm spreading hate because I'm talking shit about Joe Rogan?
Right. You're hating on my man Joe.
Yeah.
Can't be hating on Joe.
But yeah, did you catch much of this Joe v. Theo?
I saw some clips, I didn't obviously didn't play the full thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just the highlights is all I watched.
And kind of like what you were saying there about like, should you give him like some credit for like saying like kind of the basic, having like the correct stance on a few like basic simple things, and like you're saying it's good that he's saying. The problem with it is like it's like a kind of a you gotta live by the sword and die by the sword thing that I think is like unfair that people do, because basically like people will just be like, oh well, Theo Von is just an absolute dullard, moron who shouldn't be taken seriously at all. He's too stupid. It's almost shocking that he remembers to breathe half the time because of how dumb he is or whatever. But then be like, the one time that he says something you agree with, be like, and see, from the mouth of babes, pure wisdom comes out of him. It's like he's equally just as stupid when he just happens to hit on the right thing as he is when he says like ridiculous dumb stuff all the time. Like he's just a really, really dumb guy. He's just very, very stupid. Obviously, he has some form of moneytism. We have to, give him credit for that. So he's definitely a bag getter, and he does a good job of that. But he's dumb as a fucking bag of rocks. Like, just because he happens to, again, to hit on like the right thing every now and then, that like he doesn't deserve more credit. Like, but people love that's like across the board, though. You know what I mean? That's not just Theo Von. People do that with everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, people will be like, "Oh, Trump is so based," I mean, like, "Oh, fuck, he said one right thing one time. He's a fucking genius. He's incredibly based," which I say all the time because I agree with him and he's my president and I voted for him 3 times. And that's just in my name. That's not even counting all of the illegal ballots that I did for dead people. But yeah, like, sure, but other people who are like, I hate Trump most of the time will then be like, oh, he's so based because he said like Medicare is poop or something, and they're like, that's good. No, like, Theo Von's a moron all the time. Everything he says is just gobbledygook. You can't take any of it seriously just because you like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Trump also has been heard saying things like,
We're gonna have to force ourselves upon them.
You think Margot Robbie takes a dump? Yes, he says that for sure.
Shit, I completely forgot what I was going to say.
I think you were going to say...
Iluma!
Yeah, just for no reason.
Theo Von, Joe Show. Oh, okay, yes. Like, the idea of idiots or otherwise, like, contemptible people getting praised for accidentally and for the wrong reasons a lot of times, having a good take. There's this YouTube channel that is like such the embodiment of that in a way, I think it's called Breezy Politics, and it comes up a lot if I go through YouTube Shorts.
Okay.
And its focus is mostly on like people being anti-Israel and pro-Palestine, but it includes constantly like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, the Meat Man himself.
Oh, yes.
Where did my cut your meat drop go?
Oh, no. You were just talking about how important it was that you made sure that was...
I just played it, and how
That's true.
Is this possible? Anyway, I'll stop wasting time with that. That's just so weird. Sorry, I'm not done wasting time.
Oh, you're not?
Wasting all this time that will be edited out.
Cut your meat.
There, that's better. Why did it just
is.
disappear? I don't like that. Oh, you know what I gotta do? I gotta save the palette after I add something to it. Yes. There we go. Yeah, this Breezy Politics channel, it will show like really cool people, but then it just mixes them in with like these fucking contemptible idiots who are right for the wrong reasons. And I hate and I resent it every time I see it. And it always plays like this super serious, like the same like stock piano music underneath like whatever's being said. So it gives like even more gravitas to Candy Owens or whatever.
Right. Yeah, this is like just engagement slop, isn't it? This is like
for sure.
This thing, it's all it's just all shorts, and it's like it's all trying to hit the metrics. It's doing the thing.
That's 100% all it is.
God damn, look at this one. This one's got 1.2 million views. This one over here's got 3 million views, so you know it's news.
Huge news.
I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this short. This is a taste of what the
Palestinians were like, yes, Jews, Armenians, you're both welcome. Come. Of course we'll let you in.
My maternal grandmother was born in Haifa because after the Armenian genocide, the stories that my grandmother told my mother about how the Palestinian...
All right, fuck that. It's boring. This is for a short. That's way too long. But that got like 1 million views, and it's like, it's Anna Kay. She's talking about the same thing, the story that she tells every time. You know what I mean? Good for her,
yeah.
I guess. She can't be anti-Zionist because her family moved to Israel or something. I don't even know what the fuck that point of that story is. I think it's the other way around. I think it's like Jews fled to Armenia or something, and they took them in, and they were like, yeah. But the Armenians told them, when the Jews came in to Armenia as they were flooding the Nazis or whatever, the Armenians told them, just remember, don't do a Holocaust to Palestinians ever. And the Jews were like, we won't, we promise. And then, of course, we all know how that turned out. I believe that's the story. I believe that's how that story goes.
I just had in my mind a short video of just seeing like a Hasid with their fingers crossed behind their back and Hava Nagila starting to play.
That's right. That's right, folks. You know, is that anti-Semitic? No, it's just humor. You know, we're allowed to make jokes in Trump's America.
Yeah, for sure.
There's freedom.
Yeah, there's freedom to love who you want, for example.
Do we love minors? I love minors.
That's right.
Yeah, Joe v. Theo. I mean, the other shit that was fucked up about it, I guess notable about it, was just that, like, Joe's supposed to be this guy's friend, and he was just, like, being such a dick to him, like, basically saying, like, that, I guess Theo Von's really going through some shit, struggles with, you know, the mental health and whatnot for a long time, but Joe Rogan just goes, like, full RFK and is just, like... After Theo Von is like almost crying, talking about how he just doesn't understand how like we can kill children in Gaza and, you know, what the fuck is Israel doing in Lebanon. Joe's response is just like, you got to get off the antidepressants, man, and come hang out at the mothership. Like almost verbatim. That's what he said.
You gotta start doing jujitsu, man. That's what
he was like, you're losing your mind. But after saying like the only sane thing Theo Von's ever said.
Right.
But the other thing about like maybe not like giving him too much credit either is that it wasn't that long ago that he had Donald fucking Trump and JD Vance on his podcast to like launder them or whatever. And I don't think he's like shown, like said, as far as I know, I feel like I would have seen it. Like that would be big news in the echo chambers I frequent if he like very clearly said like, I really regret doing all of that bad stuff that I did. Instead, he's just like, yeah, I admit that there's a genocide going on and it makes me cry, to quote Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Alex Jones, by the way, fully off of the Trump dick riding train, apparently, I guess. I mean, we could see him jumping back on, but it seems like the hardest he's gone. He's basically saying, like, Trump is effectively dead and we should mourn him.
Nice. Can't argue
yeah,
with
he was
that.
basically, I think he was just saying, like, stuff he would never say before. Like, it's clear that his brain is, like, dying right now. He's not making any sense. But he's framing it as, like, where's the good Trump that used to be? So, he's not fully, off enough to be like, oh, what was I thinking? I was emboldening fascism or whatever by promoting this guy on InfoWars. But even Alex Jones's very strong mind, I'm sure, can't handle the ripping apart of his brain in two different directions with things like Epstein files and offensive, illegal war of aggression upon Iran.
I wish I could cheer you up, but I can't.
So, yeah, Joe Rogan was being an asshole and couldn't. Yeah. Also couldn't. It was really funny, like watching, like not just listening, but watching him physically squirm when Theo Von brought up Palantir being like an evil company, and then he did the pull it up Jamie thing about Palantir. Like,
that's pretty good.
Look, I don't think I have to explain to anyone that I have already started with a very low opinion of Joe Rogan, but this somehow even sort of shocked me for a moment. Then I thought about it and I was like, well, of course. But I was like, you haven't even heard the idea that Palantir's bad and works with the IDF. You've never heard that. You've never scrolled by that. And it's like, yeah, I guess not, because he really does truly seem to isolate himself from all the stuff he doesn't want to hear, which is why this thing with Theo Von kind of blew up, because Theo Von was like slightly pushing back and disagreeing and saying stuff that Joe really doesn't want to hear. But he was like, look that up, JB. There's no way. Palantir? Are you sure? You're not talking about Alex Karp's Palantir. You're not talking about my main man, Peter Thiel's Palantir. And he looks it up.
The guy who's been on my podcast a bunch, you know, the person that I've like tacitly endorsed to like millions of people. Yeah. No, wait, what's this? Hold on.
He like couldn't believe it. And so Jamie pulled it up, and obviously there's like a billion articles all confirming exactly what Theo Von was, you know, roughly describing. But Joe starts reading one of the articles, And he goes, "We can tell right there that's biased." Just by that language right there, because they called it a genocide.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So I don't think we can trust this source. But then he says out loud as well, right after that, like, "Oh, but yeah, the same thing." And I think Theo von said, "Well, how about the Guardian? Would you trust the Guardian?" And he's like, I don't know. It looks like this is in a lot of places, but who knows?" It's just saying, like, yeah, this is like confirmed and reconfirmed 1,000 times over.
Right.
Anyway, that's just like a classic. That's par for the course with Rogan, like just dunking on himself by asking Jamie to look up a fact. Oh, and I wish I had quick access to the "why does it lie" drop.
Oh, I almost hit it earlier. I was
Oh, why does it lie?
There we go.
And hey, you know what? While we're here,
Somalia.
It's always good. That's an evergreen one.
That's probably enough about Joe and Theo, right? I mean, a bunch more ridiculous shit was said, but this was covered in a lot of places, so I think we can move on to the next item.
Now we can
shave the hair from your balls and ass without fear.
That's the next segment.
Yes, let's all go back to...
So go back to the club.
Yes.
Club PBD, that is. The cigar lounge. The vault. That's what I was looking for. The vault.
Oh, yeah.
With the painting. Yes. Yeah, another thing that sort of went viral with two people on the same podcast clashing was Paul Bet Davidson versus Adam, what's his name? Sostic. Let's say Sostic. I like Sostic.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was actually something I was going to talk about with Joe and Theo. Is like there's, like you said, it's his quote unquote friend, you mentioned, but like there's like the unspoken part of the whole thing, which is that like Joe is like everyone's boss. All the people in the in the Joe universe, like, oh, they're just friends, and it's like, it's not directly actually his boss, but he kind of is or whatever. And this is the same dynamic, but it's just more expressly written. PBD is Adam's boss. Like, that is officially on paper. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like the Joe and Theo thing. It's like, oh no, we're peers or whatever, but you know that you can't. Joe is executing soft power.
Yeah.
He's a more Machiavellian, style.
USAID of podcasts.
Right. Leader. It's also, you can look at it as like it's more underhandedly like taking advantage of thing, because it's like he doesn't directly pay Theo, thus he's not like in any way like actually culpable to Theo in any way. So it's like he gets the benefit of like being able to treat him as if he's his boss, but he doesn't have any of the downside, whereas PBD like actually is Adam's boss. But anyways, yeah, like moving on, like that is kind of like an interesting dynamic between these two things that both kind of went viral, quote unquote, in the big watching podcasts and talking about them on YouTube, economy.
Yeah.
And the similarities between them in that way is very interesting.
Right. I was just going to say, for listeners somehow not aware, PBD is the guy who sounds little like this.
I don't like the guy.
That's right. But I do like the guy. I love the guy, if I'm being perfectly honest. I love PBD. He's the best.
Yeah, he does rule. I mean, what was this shit about? It was basically like Adam Sostic went on the Pierced Organ Show. We got so many good names for these people.
Mm-hmm.
Iluma!
Like that, too.
Yeah, he went on there and he asked Pierce if he could have a
dollar.
And Pierce said no.
Yeah. I'm so distracted by drops. I gotta find a healthy balance
rein it in
here.
a little bit. Yeah.
I really just wanted to play the Year of Surprises one, and I can't fucking find it. There it is. PBD, famously prognosticator early on in 2025 when he told us that.
This is why I call 2025 the Year of Surprises. Huh?
All right, so we all... Just to establish who Paul Bet Davidstone. I literally forget his real name at this point, like constantly.
It's
Paul Bet
it's
David.
Paul It's Patrick Bet Davidson.
Patrick Bet David. See, I did it. He's this guy.
If you've seen Tom Cruise's movie Cocktails,
then you know. Then you know who
Yeah,
PPD
who he
is.
Yeah, he's in there. He's an executive producer, and he's also a very important, part of the program.
I just to get to preempt some criticism about me, like playing too many drops or whatever. Like, my answer to that is just that
I don't like the guy.
Anything that moves!
yeah, I do what I want. So
yeah, and anybody who has any critiques about the drops, what I have to say is,
I don't wish death upon anyone, kind of, but.
So just know that you're on the wrong side of that.
Adam Sostek went on the Pierced Organ Freedom of Speech Hour to debate Dave Smith, perfect example of what we were talking about earlier. Guy he's even like a little bit of a different case than I would say like a Cucker Tarlson or a Candy Owens, because the one issue he's good on, which is basically like anti-U.S. imperialism and anti-Israel whatnot stances.
He's a guy who kind of fell for the Trump, he's not going to start any new wars guy. He's one of these people
he completely fell for it.
He fell for it, yeah.
But to his credit, like unlike Theo Von, he came out fairly early on into the Trump 2.0 admin, and well, I don't know. Maybe not early enough, but I think it was like the first war with Iran of the two that we've had so far. And just was like, oh, fuck, I made a huge mistake. I'm sorry. Like, I got tricked, But also, on top of that, he's a libertarian and has some other reprehensible views, but he's good on this one, like, general aspect of things. And he was debating Adam Sostek, a Zionist tampon thrower. I just remembered that thing, too.
Oh, yeah! Fuck, that was good.
Where he literally threw a tampon at Anna Kasparian wasn't that girls podcast supposed to be like the PBD for women?
Yes.
Was that what it was?
It was her take, yeah.
Was that under the umbrella of...
Yeah. That was Lady PBD. It was PBD trying to branch out into the ladies, which I think the whole thing just basically fell apart.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about that for a long time. Not since I saw the tampon throwing incident, probably. But he's just being a complete piece of shit. They were arguing about Israel, and he was like, he was doing the thing of like, calm down. You're going crazy. You're getting worked up. You're hysterical. And she's like, yeah, getting animated about genocide. And he's just like trying to be like calm and cool. Like, look, hey, I'm calmer than you are, dude. Calmer than you are. That kind of thing.
And it's funny that he would do that because he's like, he's on the podcast with Vinny, and Vinny is always constantly going non-stop. So for him, but it was attack. Women, obviously when women do it, it's like, it's bad.
It's related to the uterus.
Yeah.
The hysteria.
And that's why you have to throw tampons at them to be like, here, fix.
But it's so funny that he just had a tampon ready at the ready.
That's the thing about Adam, is that he's an idiot, so he doesn't think beyond like the first step. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to have this tampon to throw. But like you said, like then that beleaguers the question. I don't know if that's the right term. I don't even know what that means. To then be like, why did you have tampons with you? Right? You're not a married man.
He thought it was such a boss move to like mic drop like moment, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that asshole he just embarrassed himself thoroughly on the Pierced Organ show, because like the little clip I saw was just like him. He just had nothing. He had zero he could say in response to Dave Smith's points about Israel.
His main argument was, like, you already lost a debate about this, so how dare you even show your face or whatever?
Adam Sostek's argument was, yeah.
Yeah, that was his argument. And it's like, okay, what was the points? And the guy even called him out. He's like, name what points I lost on or whatever. Nothing.
Yeah, right.
Had nothing. Had no follow-up.
So it was just thoroughly embarrassing. Anyone could see. Even PBD had to admit. And see, that brings me back to the tampon thing, because PBD didn't have any problem with that. But also, maybe because that was under the umbrella of PBD Industries, that podcast where he did it. I mean, that was like way more offensive or whatever, which is what PBD's worried about. He's basically what this whole thing came down to is like, you're making our show look bad by looking like an idiot on podcasts.
Our show that is, just acting like an idiot.
The peak embarrassing moment on the pierced organ thing was when Adam Sostek is saying to Dave Smith, remember when you debated, I forget, it's some annoying other like pseudo-intellectual guy whose name I totally forget, doesn't matter. It's like, remember when you debated him and got your ass handed to you? And he starts holding up his phone with like a screenshot of the podcast that Dave Smith went on to debate, as if this strengthens his case somehow, his quote-unquote case against Dave Smith. And Pierced Organ even goes, what are you doing?
Why like are you, he says, oh yeah, great, you're showing your phone screen on the TV camera that no one can see. Like, he called it out, like,
yeah.
Jesus Christ, man.
So I'll also just shout out the guy that we should probably shout out every single episode, RM Brown. Check out his YouTube channel, folks. His most recent episode was so fucking funny, and he spent probably a 30 plus minutes, 38 minutes or something, covering just this incident. So if you want the more detailed breakdown of it or whatever, I would go there for that. But it was a notable bit of news. Do you remember much more about like PBD chastising Adam? Do you want to get more into that? I'm kind of like forgetting the details, but feel free.
It had like some of that like, incredibly uncomfortable thing, like I was saying, where it's like that it's his boss.
Oh, it was extremely uncomfortable, yeah. Talking
to him about this stuff and being like, and the thing about this is that, my thing is I'll talk to you, privately or whatever, but then, if you don't, follow up or whatever, then we have to turn it in. So it's like, okay, this is like some, like we don't have the full context because there's like some background stuff. And there's definitely also some like weird background stuff that we don't have the context of, where he's like, this pivot that we're doing, like, oh, we're doing this big pivot. And all the rebranding, which, like, obviously we've seen, like, kind of happening on the PBD show with, like, the new set and the...
Oh, that's where the set is different.
Yeah.
See, that's all news to me. Views and news.
Trying to, like, update whatever and being like, so basically, it did seem like what he was really saying here, this is why it's, like, funny, because it's, like, a boss. It's, like, the business is failing and, or not failing, but they're just not like, you always have to be growing. You can never be stagnant or whatever. And he's just like, we've all got to do more to make more money. And that means we've got to do pivots and we've got to, acquisition more rectifications on top of our normal, he's doing all of that businessman talk, it's like, oh yeah, what's really going on is they're probably like, quote unquote struggling, because PBD is a fucking success wins psychopath. And that's like the real answer there. And Adam, I mean, the real final like answer with the whole thing is like, Adam is actually probably their like secret ace in the hole, but PBD is a fucking moron and doesn't realize that like the fans on the YouTube that talk about how much they hate Adam, like, they pay attention and watch to hate him. You need to have a heel. And Adam is your heel. Him going on to Pierced Organ and looking like an idiot talking to Dave Smith, which, like, it's even better because it's Dave Smith, because he's just a fucking, Joe Rogan sphere comedian jack-off. Like, the fact that Adam, like, gets fucking just murked by this guy helps to build the Adam character as this, you know, hateable fucking heel. Like, did you see that idiot couldn't even, like, fucking debate the comedian? Yeah, he's so dumb, I fucking hate Adam. And, like, PBD is like, oh no, our metrics are down. We got to do something to make sure that the fans like you more. That's the problem. It's like, no, he's the heel. You want to have the heel, right? You want to have the guy that the fans hate. And, like, it's Adam. And that's good. Like, but I don't think PBD is smart enough to even understand that. Like,
no.
he thinks if people liked Adam, then we would make more money. And he doesn't realize that, no, you're making money off of the fact that people hate Adam.
He needs to lean into the idea of people constantly saying,
I don't like the guy
about Adam Sostek. And
that's right.
That's where he's really fucking up. I mean, we're trying to give PBD like some advice, like capitalist to capitalist here. Like,
right.
Just exploit everything that moves. Or even doesn't, including...
Especially doesn't.
That's honestly a good point. Like, he should just be leaning into it. And it made me think, like, maybe PBD is secretly smart for a second.
Yeah, right.
And that him doing this, calling him out very publicly and in such a way that got, you know, virality this week.
Right.
Maybe once he sees that, like, return on his investment, so to speak, then that will just naturally cause him to lean into it. And maybe he'll just, like, berate Adam on every fucking episode or whatever. The clips that I saw, I don't think any of them involved Adam Sostek trying to defend himself or interrupting PBD. He was just sitting there taking it, looking so down. Like, I feel like he had his head, like, in his hands kind of thing. Like, at least in one of the clips or something. But the other funny thing about it, of course, which the R.M. Brown dissection of the whole thing gets into pretty well, is just the fucking business speak nonsense that PBD was doing for most of it. And it's just, like, rambling all over the place. He started talking about, like, Billy Graham, the revival tent preacher guy or whatever, the evangelical preacher, and it, like, went nowhere.
Yeah. And, I mean, I guess I would like to believe that, you know, idea that, like, that maybe PBD gets it. But like I said, like, there was some stuff in there that really felt like we're missing background stuff that's, like, he was saying, like, I've been talking to you about that. And, like, I don't know if I believe that PBD is smart enough to be thinking that deep, to be like, oh, well, we should, like, try to, like, break the kayfabe here and, like, have it be, like, a work shoot kind of thing, where it's like, oh, yeah, I'm, like, I'll, like, reference that we've, like, been, you know, talking about this stuff in the background for a while so that people think that this is, like, more real or whatever. Like, I just think that is just real. Like, I think that he really is stupid enough to not quite understand, like, how this dynamic actually works or whatever.
It's the pretty risky thing to say, that guessing that perhaps Paul Bet Davidstone is not the brightest bulb.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he knows what he's doing either. He just knows like that he needs to try to sell $600 PBD shoes on his website, which is something I learned yesterday. Oh, that guy is the best. I mean,
he's another one, like I say, he's just, you gotta give PBD props. He's got money-tism, you know, he's definitely got that. He's a bag chaser, right? So you gotta give him some credit on that.
Yeah. He knows exactly what he wants. He's singularly focused.
I'm a perfectly stable individual.
Probably enough about PBD. I guess we could move on to a little of...
And, you know, when I always talk about politics, I say that it's politricks.
Some politricks talk. Mm-hmm. Now, talk about important news and prioritizing what really matters at this moment in history. Yeah, Senate Democrat demands the TSA lift its shoes-on policy, calling it a, quote, reckless safety risk. And this is Senator Tammy Duckworth, who I also thought was relevant to our podcast because we've recently been talking quack, 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 Mr. Ducksworth, Mighty Ducks.
Yes. Oh, I thought you were going to say because this is a podcast that strongly supports the animated program Duckman.
Also that.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to go back to that one for a long time and just have never gotten around to it. I wonder how it holds up.
Probably pretty well. We'll see.
That's what I would guess too. I just thought this was ridiculous because, number one, the shoes off thing has been like proven to not do anything,
right.
except slow down lines. Which also I didn't even think about that until just now, considering all the fucking TSA stuff going on lately. Although
Right.
I guess that's apparently all worked out now, except ICE is remaining there as well, even though
That's good.
the workers have come back. But then I also remembered Tammy Duckworth. I wish it was Ducksworth exactly, but it's Duckworth.
Yeah.
I was like trying to remember what her whole deal was, and her whole thing has always been like, I was in the military for like my whole life, and my dad fought in Vietnam, and then the other thing is like she's known for being like the first, or I don't know, maybe first Asian American senator, female senator, one of those like demographic things. She like checks off several of those demographic things. She's also disabled. And the disability part made me think kind of funny that the lady with no feet is fucking bringing this up. I just felt like there was something there. So that's basically my reasoning behind picking this article to kind of talk about for a second. But also, they just reversed that rule like pretty recently. I remember because I took note of it, and I fly, I don't know, regularly enough to where it's like, oh, this is nice now. I don't have to do this shit anymore.
Right. Have we thought about the fact that maybe she's just a nasty perv who wants to see people's tootsies?
Could also be the case.
Yeah. She's like, I used to get to go to the airport and see everyone have their little piggies out, and now I don't get to see that anymore, and it's making me mad.
Maybe she has to take off her prosthetics and put them through the old X-ray machine.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I have to take my feet off, you have to kind of do the same thing.
Right. That's fair.
Everyone else has to be like me. In shocking news from the administration that asks,
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
That's right.
January 6th rioter pardoned by Trump gets prison sentence for possessing, quote, enormous child pornography collection. I didn't look it up, but I feel deep in my heart that this is at least the third for sure confirmed pedophile who was pardoned by Trump because of January 6th.
Right.
And then these guys got like so emboldened, at least a few of them, that they like immediately went out and started doing more crimes and molestings again, because they really, because like initially their previous crimes, I don't remember exactly the legality of it, but there's some concept floating out there, whether it's true or not, that I think these guys tend to buy into, that like they're just like bulletproof for life now. They're like, any crimes, like I've been pardoned from jail, so you can't put me back in jail. Like any crime I do is just connected to January 6th, which I was pardoned from participating in. But yeah, this is obviously completely disgusting, and a little deeper into the article, some of the details of this were pretty fucked up, and I am going to read them because you good listeners should know exactly who our president has allowed out of prison. Federal prosecutors wrote in a sentencing memo in the child pornography case that in addition to the child sex abuse material, Tochi's laptop contained extremely disturbing images of violent acts, such as a cat being killed by being put in a blender, a male shooting a female in the head, a dog being beaten to death, and several heads and limbs, as well as images and videos of bestiality. I just pictured all the, like, a dozen chuds, like, outside of the courthouse, like, demanding to free this man.
Right. Yeah. Which also, I think, that sounds like imagery that I remember from, like, a really heady episode of Duckman that we were talking about earlier, so.
Yeah, it sounds like something you may encounter in a place.
Again, that's a place for didgeridoo brothers to meet up.
Yeah, where that happens.
I mean, it makes perfect sense that this guy was at January 6th, right? Because the January 6th thing were people who got fucking too caught up on internet, right? Like they got too like internet done broke their brain, and they ended up in like the bad part of the internet, and then that's how they end up there at doing January 6th. And like, yeah, internet is also how you fucking find all that stuff that this guy had, right? Like, people didn't have that stuff before the internet. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I remember, what's that? That 9mm, that movie or whatever. That's like about like making snuff films and stuff. 8mm.
Yeah.
Like people talked about how basically that was like just an urban legend thing, right? Like the concept of like a snuff film.
Yeah.
When they made that movie and they wrote the script and all that, it's like not a real thing or whatever. But like since then, because of the internet, it's like it has become real, you know?
I think it was real before too, I'm sure, but
yeah, it's, you know, it became a lot more of a thing.
It's more,
you know,
for
like
sure, more real.
Industry. Yeah. More of an industry, I guess I should say, you know? So yeah,
Ugh,
it's just like...
That's nauseating to put in those terms, but yes.
I know. Yeah, but yeah, so it's just kind of like... Of course, the guy who fucking got, you know, the internet broke his brain into, like, supporting Trump enough to go to January 6th. Also, like, the internet has broken his brain to the point where he has that kind of shit on his computer, of course, you know? Of course.
Yes. And I don't know why, I just feel like saying the fact that it's insane. Like, if you look into the amount of and the nature of the pardons that Trump has done so far in just, you know, a little over a year, it's it truly is the most like openly corrupt administration. I think that's fair to say. When people say just most flat out corrupt, nah, but openly, sure, I can go along with that. So if you ever want to see some open corruption, put something into your search bar to the effect of Trump pardons corrupt, I guess.
Yeah, right.
But to move on to more feel-good news, I would say. Oh, go ahead.
Quickly, before we move on, it would be interesting. I guess I should say before we even move on, the most important thing is the official heat death of the universe policy when it comes to that guy that got pardoned by Trump and had all that nasty ass porn on his computer is...
I don't like the guy.
But the other part is, I wonder if you could find that Trump, like, pardoned the most pedophiles out of any president. That's gotta be true, right?
I think that's probably safely the case, just because I know at least 3
right
pardoned in a year. And I know for sure more that weren't connected to January 6th. There's so many connections to pedophilia and Donald Trump. It's almost like he...
Do we love minors? I love minors.
Loves them.
It's, you know, it's coming back to bite him in the ass. Old Donnie Trump.
Yeah, well, yeah, speaking of things coming back to bite Don Trump, one Don Trump in the ass.
Don Trump.
The IRGC declared, from now on, for every assassination, an American company will be destroyed. To which I said, good job. I do like the guy.
Yeah.
And it also made me think that it's also incredibly restrained, considering the war crimes that have been committed and are continuing to be committed upon Iran. All the double taps, all the annihilated schools and hospitals. That just doesn't seem tit for tat, is all I'm saying. And that even to get a little closer to that they would destroy at least as many American company headquarters or whatever business locations as number of school children who've been killed and ambulance drivers who've been double tapped. Maybe throw them in there too. But I mean, it's too much of an ask.
That's unfair because you can fit way more school children into one room than you can like buildings or whatever, you know?
True. It's
like
just
you can
not.
put a bunch
It's
of
not
them in there.
logistically practical. I guess maybe their ballistic missiles can only reach so far. It's true.
The real way to do it would be to do it in like raw like pounds. Like if you did it by the pound. Pound of buildings destroyed versus pound of children killed.
Oh god, that's so fucking silly.
That I think would be a fair, measurement. Anyway.
God damn. Yeah. There's you know how people used to say there's an app for that? There's a drop for that. It sounds a little something like this. Oh boy.
Sorry, Britton.
Yeah, that one's a harsh one. I'll tone it down in the edit. We'll see. And throw one of these in there too. Why not?
Fuck everybody. Amen.
So yeah, they've been doing that. They've been done doing that, and the war is going worse than ever for the United States, and I guess better than ever for Iran, despite the fact that school children are still being destroyed by Israel and America. But truly, the upper hand seems to be theirs at this point. There's just more of the same of kind of like last week, like, I'm not desperate, you're desperate. You're begging, I'm not begging. While begging, basically pleading for Iran to come to the table and let's end this now. And Iran just clearly saying, no thanks. We'll be dictating the terms from now on. And that's what's happening, because the Strait of Hormuz happens to be a very important choke point for trade, which everyone knew except Donald Trump, I guess. Or he just thought, well, surely our powerful military can just ram through, right? We could just, at the very least, we could just nuke the Strait of Hormuz, right? That'll fix it. Just like nuking a hurricane.
It'll make it bigger, at least. More space for ships to go through. Right?
More irradiated space, that's right.
Listen, I mean, all of space is irradiated by the sun. Are you gonna say no more sun?
That reminds me of an article I had pulled up, like, what seems like years ago now, but it was just, like, in preparation for this episode, I guess, about, like, what would it look like if the sun instantly disappeared? It was one of those, like, I fucking love science things, but we'll skip that. Yeah, I mean, obviously there should be way more to update on the war, but maybe just one more bit on that, which is this ridiculous thing Marco Rubio said, and he looks ridiculous in this picture of him in the show notes. I'll just read from the Real News Network. Rubio ironically says Iran should spend money on its people, not on the military. A thing he really said, and then very pathetically tried to walk back later, I think, like he also did with saying so clearly how the war started. Do you remember that? How he was like, well, Israel told us, or we knew Israel was going to attack, so we just decided to join in. Just get ahead of it.
Israel was going to attack, and then that meant that Iran would attack back, and then we would have to attack Iran for attacking Israel, so we decided to just cut out the middleman.
Yes,
that was how he explained it, which is perfect.
He really tried to walk that one back pathetically. I might have been confusing the walking back thing with that dumb thing he said instead of this one. But anyway, obviously this is absurd, as the tweet continues explaining. The Trump administration has requested a record-shattering $1.5 trillion Pentagon budget, and a $200 billion budget for the war itself. That part was insane. Also, they were just directly saying, like, they've already, like, hugely kind of crippled Medicare, right? Am I right in saying that? That's the one?
Yeah.
Or is it Medicaid?
Yeah.
One of the medical ones. Probably both of them. I mean, one of them is like 18 million people are getting kicked off of or something.
Well, and that was what I was going to say. Even since the what Rubio said and the tweet here explaining it, Trump has just like come out and openly said that. Like there's the thing where he's like, oh, the U.S. government, we can't do, child care, daycares, feeding people, Medicare. We can't do any of that stuff. We can only do war. The states have to take care of the other stuff. But it got even worse since this.
Yeah, it's true. They really went full quiet out loud there. Just gave the children's cancer medicine to the war effort.
Yeah.
And then just speaking of the Iran's vow to take out U.S. corporation areas that are in the region, in the Gulf states, they claimed that they took out an Oracle data center. And I actually want to look it up now to see if it's changed. But last I saw, all the news items about it were like, well, state-run Iranian media claims this, but Dubai officials put out a tweet that just said fake news about it. So we're gonna go with the Dubai tweet as probably the more likely thing that happened. And it doesn't look like that's shifted at all in my search here. It's still like an open question and being called fake news, denied by Dubai. I mean, it's just a media blackout, just like in Israel. The Gulf states are no different. The America states are really not that different. I mean, this news again feels like it was a year ago, but Trump was like directly threatening like the FCC or something for basically threatening to like shut down television networks if they show footage that makes America look weak, or getting owned in the war. I mean, I don't think that really went anywhere, but the threat is already sort of implicitly there. It feels like anyway. Like the way that most mainstream news operations run basically does that already. It's just like Trump's like, it's still not good enough. Like don't say anything. Only show us blowing up schools. That makes us look better.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's fucking brutal.
And then big news this week. Pamela Bondi is no more. She's been axed and replaced by, I think, I'm going to say an even more evil person. At least equally, but my gut tells me he's more evil because he was Trump's personal lawyer for a time. I mean, they were both like extremely loyal to Trump either way, but
right.
What's this guy's name? Todd Blanche. He's going to take over, going to be the top cop of America, or top lawyer, whatever.
Same thing.
He is the guy who went on a Sunday NBC News program and just like completely deflect isn't even the right word. He just like refused to answer the question about like, was there a quid pro quo with Ghislaine Maxwell when you went to meet with her, and then less than a week later you came out and said that she said Trump was never seen doing anything wrong regarding Jeffrey Epstein, and then she happens to get relocated to a prison she's legally not supposed to be in because she's a sex criminal. It's just one of those like, this is a very 90s turn of phrase, a Club Med style prison they used to call them.
Yeah.
Which we've talked about on the show before, but yeah, she got a puppy. She has her, and then the warden was quoted to have said something like, I hate that this bitch is making me her bitch, because she just has like kind of free reign, like in this Club Med facility that she was relocated to, like literally less than a week after this meeting with this Todd Blanche guy, this closed door meeting, by the way. I think maybe they probably like selectively released some of their conversation later, but yeah, anyway, I guess they're not dumb enough yet to release them just openly saying like, hey, you say this thing about Trump and we'll hook you up with a nicer cell or whatever.
Yeah, right.
They haven't quite gotten there yet, I guess. And then just like tangentially related, because we haven't brought it up yet on the podcast, I don't believe, Kristi Noem was fired. I guess, again, something that feels it happened a year ago, but it's probably 2 weeks ago. I'm not sure. It's kind of funny how he's going after all the ladies first. Then I heard some people speculating that they think Tulsi's going to be next. So he's just like, he's going after all the hysterical. He's just throw a tampon at one of them at some point. Go all Adam Sawstick on him. It totally lines up with his like all of his little like outbursts that he has with the press. It's like every time with a female reporter that he gets like he's an incredibly open, gaping asshole to them. Who would have thought Donald Trump, perhaps not the woman respecter we thought him to be?
Yeah, right.
But then tendentially related again, something you brought to my attention first before I'd seen it anywhere else, which I just decided to call BalloonTiddiesGate.
Right.
Kristi Noem's husband?
Ex-husband?
Is it ex-husband?
Whatever?
I don't even know.
Not yet. But people are like speculating, right?
Well, they've been already speculating that she's almost definitely fucking this guy, whatever that guy is who she works with.
Yeah.
Who is that guy? He's some, if you can believe it, another evil politician type. For those of you living under a rock, I guess, you'll explain what happened.
Oh, it's Corey Lewandowski. That's the guy that she's supposedly fucking. This is like a major sideways step, you know, when you just look at him compared to her husband. It's like, you're fucking the same guy? You're cheating on your husband with just the same guy? You know?
Well, maybe the fetish is like pushed her away. Maybe they just weren't sexually compatible like that.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, like, I mean, yeah, the big story is that footage or whatever was leaked of Mr. Noem putting balloons under his shirt to resemble crooked tits, and then engaging with some kind of fetish models while he jacked off. Honestly, pretty tame. Considering the shit that I just read you about that January 6th guy for comparison. It's kind of a big... I mean, this is the thing that always comes up with this stuff when, like, a Republican is, like, outed as, like, being into trans stuff or gay stuff or whatever. It's like, you should maybe be careful as someone who wants to mock them as, like, you know, like, kind of jokingly say, don't kink shame, but, like, there's some truth to it, really. But no, I mean, but also, it's kind of implied that the funny part is just the hypocrisy, right? It's the fact that Kristi Noem talks massive shit and beyond that about trans people, for example. Probably the gays too, I imagine. She's on record saying something nasty.
Sure, yeah.
And it's just like,
your
husband is the thing.
Bitch. Yeah.
So I don't know if there's really much more to that story than that. I guess the moral of the story is simply...
Because you lay down in a den of vipers, a nest of vipers. That's what you did. So you're going to get motherfucking bit.
Well, I was also going to paraphrase the man, Kyle Polinsky there, which is that, like, seeing a picture of, Kristi Noem's husband and just saying, "That's a lot of tits, you nasty-ass bitch."
That is his style of speaking, for sure.
Yeah.
He also does the thing where, like, when he's frustrated, he just, like, thinks of, like, the grossest thing he could do to himself to describe his frustration, like putting his balls in a blender and shit like that. But the other day he said, I want to put my head in a microwave and turn it on. And I was like, hey, is this dude referencing Infinite Jest? No, I don't think he was, but... That is a major plot point of that novel.
He was probably referencing Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Could be. I think also he was kind of like I'm doing right now, like not very smoothly putting his words together. So I think it was a little more off the dome than anything else. But anyway, shout out to the dark woke master himself.
We love him.
Kolinsky.
We love him, folks.
Just about the news, finally. There is so much of it that quite literally...
I got news that just keeps, pouring out of my anus for you guys.
But despite that, we we may shift gears a little bit. Smooth transition, all right.
Let's see. I was trying to do a seamless transition.
I know, man. I'm sorry. I just found the drop and I got excited.
Yeah, that's good. Listen, it's time to
cut your meat.
Is this maybe a good time for me to take a piss?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, I'll be right back. So while urinating, it just hit me what you were referencing there. The maybe the most famous tweet ever by Kyle Kalinske to Nancy Mace saying, "That's a lot of beans, you nasty ass bitch." Yeah. But he does also just talk like that, obviously, so I wasn't totally far off. But the tweet was funnier than... referencing the tweet is funnier than just saying it as if... Anyway, whatever. Moving on.
Just paraphrasing. All right. So, okay, Josh, the most important thing that before we talk about anything else, we have to say congratulations that, you know, your girlfriend is finally making an honest man out of you. And she got down on one knee and she proposed. She said, she looked up at you and she said, "Josh, will you, take my country fully into your soul and will you become fully Korean?" You got to get that drop. Do you remember that when R.M. Brown had that "I'm Korean" that drop for a minute? It was from Jubilee.
I only know it through you referencing it, but yes.
Yeah. So yeah, congrats on that. But I was thinking about it because we were like kind of somewhat talking about not the trials and but like your current situation vis-a-vis like citizenship and all of this stuff.
Visa.
Yeah, vis-a-vis visa. That's that should be like an album name or something. But then I was thinking, I was like, I don't really know. And okay, full disclosure. It was kind of a High-Dia style shower thought. I was like, I remember when I like was just a listener of the Heat Death of the Universe. I found it interesting that you guys were like Korean expats. I feel like we never really broken it down like a ton, talking about like your experiences in Korea. I also think that probably some of the people who listen to the podcast are also Korean expats. Maybe like partially you think like, oh, it would be boring for them to hear about stuff that they're experiencing too or whatever. I don't know.
Could be affirming or cause controversy in the Discord. We'll see.
That's true. Just thinking about like, what's it like there? Like one thing I thought about was like work wise, right? So I know that like you've done teaching, English in Korea. That's like a pretty common thing that like, American / Western people do, moving to Asian countries to teach English. But like, what would it be like for you to, if you tried to get like any other kind of job? That was like one of the first things that crossed my mind. Like, had you thought about / tried to like do any other work in Korea?
Thought has rarely crossed my mind because it's like a deepest shame of mine that my language skills are just very, very bad.
Okay.
Still, despite the lengthy amount of time I've been here. So I don't think I could like actually functionally do most jobs without at least like really buckling down and improving my Korean, which I'm considering finally doing. I mean, I've gone through periods of doing it, and then just the thing is that I've also kind of wanted to leave this country for a long time, and been in kind of a feeling of a limbo state, and like basically stayed around for the sake of being with my fiance, as they say in Raising Arizona.
Oh yeah.
Not legally married yet. Couple more days, but so yeah, basically my Korean's too shitty to get like any other kind of job unless it's a job where it's just like English is being spoken a lot or something, which is going to be rare. So not really, but when I do come back to Korea after my little journey to the US, my visa situation won't be tied to employment. So yeah, I could theoretically just get a regular ass job, pretty much anywhere. But again, I have to get some things in order first, like being at least basically fluent, which I really am not. I'm like, ashamedly, but also not that much ashamedly, because like I said, time flies by. You're busy doing stuff, but also it's pretty ridiculous that I didn't really buckle down and get my language skills in order. That's my long, meandering response.
Sure. But I mean, whatever. Like, it's not like everybody else is out here learning other languages in their free time. You know what I mean? How many other languages have I learned in the past 5 years? Also 0. So, but yeah,
you didn't live in another country for 14 years.
Sure. I know. But you get my point. It's like, I understand where you're coming from, but also, whatever. Okay, but theoretically, I guess you could have tried to get another job, or like the visa thing is so connected to the employment, like it would be difficult, or
impossible. It's just impossible. Like there is a specific visa specifically for teaching English, and that's the visa that nearly every foreigner I've ever met living here has, unless they're married to a Korean or maybe a student or something.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's very strictly for English teaching jobs only. You're really technically not even allowed to like independently tutor people either. Technically, you could be like deported for that. But let's say I may or may not have done that before.
Right. And it's a common thing that happens or whatever.
Yeah.
The next thing that I was going to ask is about like music, right? Because that was like the next thing that popped into my head. I wanted because you did like bands, you performed in music style bands, doing stuff. I assume you guys did like shows, and produced like albums or whatever, all that stuff. Like, was there money being made? This could be without incriminating yourself or whatever. There's just similarly to what you're just talking about, like, where would that fall into the visa thing? And then also, like, what is the music scene like in Korea for, like, a small band that's just performing, like, gigs and stuff? Like, because I thought about that, too. It's like, oh, maybe you're just, like, it wasn't really a thought because everything is just kind of done for the love of the game, and it's not really about, like, trying to make money off of it, whatever.
This is the first time I've ever even considered that I guess what I was doing was technically illegal.
Okay.
Because, we made money, not a lot, but, enough to do some stuff with. And we had like a band, like shared band account. So I guess technically they couldn't really trace it back to me. Although
directly to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Although, why am I laying this out on a recording for the Korean cops to listen to? But,
right. You don't have to.
So yeah, I never even thought about that as an issue, but I guess technically it could have been.
I guess, let's say, theoretically, not you specifically, but in the context of just the quote-unquote music scene in Korea when it comes to, like, independent bands, kind of scrape it together, would you say that it's similar to, like, how that is in America then? Like, it is, like, bands that are like low level, but they are still kind of like looking at it as like trying to make money from it, even if it's like realistically kind of just a passion project kind of thing. Like, the goal is to be profitable and make money.
For sure. I think that's completely the same. That dynamic of like whatever indie bands trying to gain popularity. Sure. Yeah. It's pretty much the same.
It's pretty similar. I wasn't sure. I was like, maybe it's not a thought. Maybe it doesn't cross your mind because it's a lot more normal there to just be like, we just do this for fun. We don't care about making money or whatever. But I mean, you would say it is similar.
That was my mindset.
Sure.
As the drummer in the band, and my bandmates, the two like primary songwriter singer guys. They definitely were shooting for the stars more, I'll say. So even that dynamic is the same in Korea. Koreans, they're just like us. Where bands can have, differing outlooks and stuff. I mean, that's why I stopped being in the band. I was the first to leave, was because I just couldn't give the 110% that they really wanted. And also I think things were just naturally kind of dissipating or whatever. And that band's name was
Look at My Penis.
R.I.P.
Oh, that's a big time act now. I hear that name dropped on the Tim Pool show constantly.
I will shout out my former bandmates' current projects that are really cool. My friend Geeman, he's got a new band that's doing some like cool like experimental stuff mixed with, more like melodies and whatnot. It's just like a nice mashup of like kind of avant-garde, but then, pop sensibility and heaviness. It's got like a bunch of things all mashed together. And I'm like actually really proud of what he's doing with it. They're called PCR. I think you can find them on Instagram or something. And then my other bandmate, Tommy Powell, I just found out like just recently that he started like a YouTube channel where he does he reviews albums and then plays songs and stuff like that. And
nice.
He's got like a pretty decent following like pretty quickly, and he does it all in Korean, which is probably some novelty factor there to see this like pale redhead British man speak Korean pretty well and describe music and then sing in Korean as well. So yeah, that's I guess just some general recommendations there.
We're not there. We're not supposed to be doing that yet. No.
Specific recommendations, we call them.
Oh, I guess that's not general. I don't know how in detail you want to get into like your specific situation. We kind of like mentioned it offhandedly. I don't remember if that was on the podcast yet or we were recording, but if it's going to be officially part of this, but like where you're at with like your visa, not falling through, but like coming to an end, right? And like I mentioned, Mazel Tov on the nuptials, the impending nuptials. Finally, it took you long enough, kind of thing.
Yeah, it took me long enough.
But like what, where you're at with that stuff and like dealing with it, because it just seems like been working. I guess you've been out of work without a contract or whatever for a minute. Is that like why your visa is like coming due? Is just you haven't had like employment officially for a while, or is it something else?
It's part of that's basically it. It's just, I mean, if I really told you the full story, it would be so fucking boring and technical. But essentially, I tried to get a job seeking visa, which I've done in the past between jobs, and they basically just used some sort of discretion and said, no, you can't because you had one of those for a full year in 2024. So they basically thought I was like trying to game the system or something. It's like, no, I just want to like look for another job. What's the problem? What do you care if I have a job or not? I'm just trying to legally be here. Anyway, it all turned out to like, I mean, I want to be really clear that my girlfriend and I have already been ready to be married for a while. And it's just like a matter of like not getting around to the legal factor of it. So this just sort of like sparked that into motion. But yeah, basically I'll leave and I'll probably be gone for about a month. It could be possibly up to 3, I think. There's a lot of insane amount of preparation and paperwork and stuff to do, both before I leave and after I get to America and have to go to like the Korean consulate. But yeah, that's where I'm at. So I'm going to be, the other funny thing to me is that I might try to get like a part-time job while I'm in America. And also like realizing that I have to like purchase temporary health insurance was just like reminding me of all the reasons I left America to begin with.
Right.
But also the way that I get like a pension here as well, which unfortunately not every foreigner living here gets. There's like different setups. Some people like get nothing. I think if you're from the UK, they just tie it in with like your UK pension. But at least for Americans and a few other countries, as soon as you like officially leave, like you show a one-way ticket out of Korea and surrender your alien registration card, and you can collect whatever you've built up in your pension fund. And I'm going to do that. Also, a thing I maybe shouldn't say on the podcast that actually I didn't say it yet, so never mind.
Hey. All right.
I'll cut it, but I'm going to have like a large amount of cash with me when I arrive in LA that I'm going to try to quickly deposit into my American account. Y'all got Chase Banks in LA?
Into Bitcoin. You want to put it into Bitcoin instantly. That's the safest way. That's where, in fact, it should already be there. Why do you have cash at this point? It should all be Bitcoin. This is not cut. This has to be in there. Everyone, I'm telling you, listening, this is a general recommendation. Have all of your money in Bitcoin, man. It's safe. It's the only thing. Anyway. I guess when you were talking about getting temporary insurance, I was like, why are you being so fucking worried about, being in America for a little while? You don't need to have insurance. But it's like, I forget that, like, especially, like, living in a country that has, like, insurance or whatever, has medical, you're like, okay, like, it's irresponsible to not have insurance or whatever.
Yeah, I don't want to go bankrupt if I get, hit by a car or something.
Right, but then also it's just like, yeah, that's like, it's normal in America. You just don't have insurance. That's a normal thing, But
that's the funny. That's the funny thing about all of it, is that it made me realize that every time I went on like visits to America, I was kind of rolling the dice because I didn't consider the fact that my Korean insurance is not going to be accepted in America. I guess it's.
No, it would. I mean, they would they send the bill back to Korea, like, and then usually they would probably just pay it.
I think that would be the case if I were a Korean citizen, but because I'm an American citizen, that would not happen. And especially this visit where I'm literally just like, it looks like I'm just moving back to America, basically.
Right.
If you want to talk like what I think about Korea, when people ask me what do you like the most about Korea, my number one answer is always that I don't have to worry about health insurance.
Right.
That is the honest answer, really. I mean, it's kind of like a boring answer. Of course, I know they're like looking for something like what's the best food or whatever.
Nah. Well, I did this before for my good buddy Daniel Makabe, pro wrestler / Canadian. So another guy who lives in a socialist hellscape where they, if you get sick, they take care of you. When he first got married, I had to explain to him that, like, as a wife guy, you have to remember this, because your gut instinct is to just, respond like a normal person. But as a wife guy, you have to remember, if someone asks you what's your favorite thing about Korea, Josh, you know what you're supposed to say? My beautiful wife. That's my favorite thing about Korea. That's number one. And then number two can be healthcare or health insurance or whatever.
Yeah, not dying unnecessarily or going bankrupt.
Yeah, but remember, you have to have it holstered. Number one, if anyone asks you, what's your favorite thing about Korea? My wife, my beautiful wife. Yeah. My beautiful bride.
When you said / Canadian, I thought of just like the Canadian as an identity like that, and it called to mind a certain drop. Canada's a place where
white people have some spooky pussy.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's right. But yeah, that's actually, if you have to come back, you should just go to Canada instead of America.
I mean, here's maybe too much of a peek into my personal life. The day we like officially decided we were going to get married, we ended up kind of arguing about me not wanting to really live in Korea forever.
Sure.
It's just something we've been talking about for years, and Canada was one of the options I had on a long list, I guess. But we'll see. Either way, I'm happy about the marriage and the little visit I get to make back to America. Get to see some good folks, and Who knows? Maybe have some notable run-ins with ICE that'll boost the
That's true.
podcast's
Yeah.
visibility or something.
Yeah, you should try to get deported. Imagine if ICE deported you back to Korea. That'd be
I
good.
should try to get 10 to the back of the head. We'd be huge.
That would work.
God, I honestly just felt like I jinxed myself by saying that. I just had like a dark shadow fall over me.
Well, the good news is that you can like unsay it. That's the great thing about it.
That's true. I unsay it. It's not real.
Videos aren't real.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for the wife guy advice. Also,
Yes.
I really appreciated that.
The more you learn. I'm an experienced wife guy. I've been doing it for 10 years at this point, maybe longer. That's another trick about being a wife guy. You don't have to know how long you've been married. People are going to tell you that you do, but you don't.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's one I hear, like, ladies get kind of upset about, like, forgetting the anniversary and whatnot.
They don't care. Okay, set the precedent early that they're not going to expect you to remember, and then you're good.
I've definitely burned that bridge or whatever, burned that precedent already, because I'm a thoughtful fellow when it comes to stuff like that.
Now you're stuck. You have to keep being thoughtful forever,
I know, I really
cut your meat
on that one.
That's right.
I mean, the only advice you really need for marriage, I would say, is that you should
reach out to the people you love and love them.
It's like
I was so close to using that one earlier.
Sorry, you were about to say something. I cut you off.
No, I wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like a huge thing or whatever.
It wasn't huge, like
Somalia. That's right. I couldn't even say if I think like Somalia is a big country or not. Anyways.
But the drop is huge.
Right. People talk about like K-pop or whatever, and they have these like insane ideas of like what to be in that you like start in an academy when you're like 6 years old, or like you have to sign up your fetus like the second that you bust to get them in there, and then they build you into a thing. Okay, but like compare that to like what's like the indie music scene like okay, does anyone really like think about that? Is there like it's so commercialized?
Probably not.
Yeah, people, it doesn't cross people's mind. Stuff like that that's like unique, right? I guess, I don't know. It's just like, what else is like a unique, like...
I mean, I can say some things about like being in the band that were like fun and interesting, I guess. Like I was going to say earlier, well, this one is actually,
please,
I think, a good one, at least for musicians out there. One of the big differences and big like superior qualities that Korea has music venue wise and playing live gigs wise is that every single live music venue has a drum set or more and all the guitar amps and bass amps. So as a band, you don't have to lug that shit around ever at all. And as the drummer, especially, like I was just carrying drumsticks. And then like when we went on tour to Japan, like 4, maybe 5 times, I can't even remember now, at least 4. That was like one of the highlights of my life. Just because, we lost money. We paid money to go to Japan and play music, but it was like some of the most fun I've ever had. Like just taking like the bullet train from Kyoto to Tokyo with the bandmates, like having some hair of the dog, canned cocktail type liquor at 8 a.m. Just living the rock and roll lifestyle on the bullet train. Stuff like that I'm going to remember forever. But the thing, and so like when we went on tour, not having to bring any of that stuff was like huge. You just had to like, the guitar players got to bring their guitars. But American music venues are not like that as far as I remember, ever.
No.
I played in a band in America and I had to lug the drums around and it sucked.
Right. Yeah, they don't like speaking like similarly to like we were talking about earlier with the insurance or whatever, like having like America is a land of like we don't trust you, you know? So yeah, like, if you're going to play drums, you have to have your drums. We're not going to trust you to play our drums, you know what I mean? Like, you have to. It has to be your responsibility or whatever. Drag yourself around on tour by your bootstraps or whatever. Yeah, of course.
Drag yourself on tour by your bootstraps. That's good.
Yeah. That's how it works. So yeah, like, but yeah, my point, and that is like an interesting thing that I would not have crossed my mind. So I'm happy that you shared it. But I wasn't trying to like imply it had to be about band stuff. It was just like I guess I meant like around the same lines. Here's an interesting one. Okay, grocery shopping, right, in Korea compared to America. I don't know. You haven't been here in a while.
I talked about the word groceries for a lot.
That's right. That's right. It's an old-fashioned word. But, okay, so America has, like, this cycle. It's like right now we're in, like, a cycle, like a boom and bust cycle with, like, our economy is falling apart and discount grocery stores, right, have, like, a thing where they pop up and then, like, they build up. It's like the 99-cent store was a thing. Grocery outlet is now a thing. You know, pick and save if you're, like, old. Right. That's my point. You haven't been here in a while. Yeah, but
I thought Pick and Save was just a regional Wisconsin grocery store from my childhood.
Nationwide, man, nationwide. It's
really?
Like it's a discount. It's like a discount grocery store, and it becomes like a thing.
I didn't know we were going to the discount grocery store as a kid. My parents shielded me from our poverty, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And my point is, like, America, like, people love to, you know, think of themselves as higher than. So the second that they can, like, afford to not go to the discount grocery store, they start going and, like, to the more bourgeoisie grocery store and spending more money and all this and that. But right now, you know, with inflation and everyone's fucking broke and all this, like, grocery outlet is kind of the bargain market. It's like it's in a growth period. Like, do you see? You've been there 14 years. You would probably have seen these kind of cycles. Do you see that kind of cycle? Like, is there a, you know, boom and bust discount grocery store cycle, or is it a lot more like even? I would assume that it's a lot more even, and just people kind of, they go to the local grocery store that they've been going to their whole life, you know, and that might be doing like noble savagery, like provincialism, being like, oh, I would assume that Koreans are all like, you know, the thousands of years old, blah, blah, blah. Like, do you see similar economic, like, cycles in Korea that we have in America? I would assume not, but what have you actually experienced?
Yeah, not really. And you're also right about, like, the local market. You basically have, like, two options, I would say. Like, there's, like, markets, which is what it sounds like kind of like a semi-outdoor whatever store. You know, words are hard, folks. Let's get our terms defined before I go on further here.
Yeah,
such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries.
And it
sort of says a bag with different things in it.
That's what groceries are.
If you've been wondering,
there's like the marketplaces, which are obviously smaller scale, but it's just like a bunch of them, and you know, there's places where they're more concentrated together. That's like just considered like a big market place, whatever. Right. And then there are these gigantic monolith corporate grocery stores. You got your Lotte Mart, your E-Mart, your Home Plus. So that's, and then we did an episode some time ago where we tried to focus on the humble egg. I remember explaining that eggs are like, even though they did get the price did get inflated a little bit, it was inflated from such an already low price that I didn't even notice. So yeah, as far as I know, now a couple things are apparently being hit by what's happening in the world right now in the Strait. Because Korea, like Japan, gets a lot of its energy through that same corridor. Yeah. The first thing I heard was my girlfriend saying, like, we should kind of ration the plastic trash bags that we use, because that's another thing different from America, right? I don't remember having mandated bags to put your trash and not recyclables.
Yeah.
But apparently there would be some shortage of those. But then, I don't know, some minister of finance or something came out and was like, everybody chill out. Even if we run out of those, you could just use regular bags to put your fucking garbage in. Because people were panic buying like the official, city. I think it's even down to the district within the city. Like it's a different color bag with a different designation on it, which is another difference from the United States. And then, like I mentioned way earlier, if that was even on the podcast, when I was looking at flights, air travel definitely got affected, but that's like across the board, I would guess, recently. And it's probably only going to get worse from everything I've come to understand about how this awesome war is affecting the global economy.
Yeah.
Wait, grocery stores. Did I answer your question even?
Kind of.
There are no discount grocery stores is what I could have just said.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like that concept doesn't exist here.
Not just like are there discount grocery stores, but like do you see like the but you did answer it because I was saying like am I wrong in thinking that it's like has a more provincial like you go to the same little market that you've gone to your whole life because it's in your neighborhood versus like these like businesses that like pop up and grow and then they have boom and bust cycles and then close down and then get replaced by like a different thing that's the same thing but it just has a different name. You know what I mean? Like that's not happening in Korea. Like these are little businesses that are run by like normal people who you see. And then there's also like massive grocery stores that have been around for like decades, but they're not, rushing through like the life cycle of a business within 5 to 10 years and then being replaced by something else.
There's generally, I would say, just more economic stability overall. Like as much as this place gets called by like people in, say, aforementioned r/TrueAnon, the Republic of Samsung, this country, as much as it is, and people always like to say too, and I've said it before just to like drive the point home, like Korea is hyper capitalistic. It's like, well, then what is America? I mean, what are we comparing it to? There's a national health insurance scheme here. So you have things like that. Like there's a little bit more central planning, state involvement, even though on the other hand, there's this huge other force like pushing and pulling at things, which is capitalism. It's still just, I think Britton said this in the Discord, like whenever he starts bitching about Korea, he just remembers how fucked up America is. And I do that all the time too. Right. I guess it's my sort of a generalized view of what this country is like in comparison to America, at least economically. But no, you're not wrong that people, to answer the question, I think the real answer is that it's probably just average people just do both. Like I go to the big marts sometimes, and then I go to like the little marketplaces as well. Like it just depends on like what's more convenient or what you need specifically. I would say most people probably do that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's so funny to be like, oh, did I answer your question? Yes. I mean, it's not much of a question, and it was already been thoroughly fully answered. All right. What about like El Kukui, the boogeyman, spooky stuff? Like how much like spooky? I mean, it's so weird because like everything is like the internet obviously is like consolidated all of this. You've got like creepypasta that everyone knows. Like I'm sure people talk about Slender Man, but like how prevalent is like ancient like spooky spirits from the past in like modern like conversations / like the zeitgeist of understanding? And this might be something that's hard for you because like even though you are live there and you're like in cultural native to the thing, like you said, you're not like a native speaker, so you might not even completely understand everything. But do you see a lot of like kind of like folk stories and things that are like thousands of years old, kind of spirits and stuff like that? Do you see that like around?
Not really. I can give one example though. There's like a public holiday called National Foundation Day in English, which basically it uses some mythology, but like as far as I know, no one literally thinks this origin cosmology type story is real. It involves something with like a human being fucking a bear or a tiger or something. I'm trying to remember the story, actually. My sort of like survey on this has just been teaching here for as long as I have been, and whenever I get a chance to bring it up, I ask the kids like if they believe in it, and they're like, no. But it's basically celebrating like the origin of the first Korean through like supernatural means involving garlic and a bear and a tiger or something.
Nice.
But I can't quite find. I'm looking for the summary of it and I can't find it. But anyway, it's called National Foundation Day. That's the first thing that came to mind. Other than that, I mean, people are really into what's your blood type stuff, which is the same in Japan. And people think it's absurd. People are shocked when I tell them I don't know what my blood type is. I just don't remember, and I don't have it written down anywhere. As far as I know, it might be on my. I think it's not even on my American driver's license, although I think it's supposed to be.
No, they don't have your blood type on your driver's license.
I think they used to at some point, in case you get an
At
accident.
some point, they might have, yes, but they don't anymore. Yeah. But yeah, I think you're right that it used to be there.
It's just basically astrology with blood. You know, it's like, what kind of person are you? Are you compatible with who you're dating? And so there's a little bit of like
folk science.
I've seen people that I would otherwise think would be more skeptical of that kind of buying into it, but no one I've ever hung out with like fully like believes in it. But some people think there's like maybe something to it because my friend had this blood type and their wife had this blood type and then they broke up, whatever, stuff like that.
To be honest, I feel like we're good. Like, we talked about a ton of stuff and then kind of just did like a light wrap up about whatever, just to get into some weird little things. I guess we could, as the mood strikes, and kind of talk about whatever. But do you want to do general recommendations? You already kind of did specific recommendations, but do you have one?
I do, but also I'm seeing breaking news.
Oh no.
This just in. Emergency broadcast from Donald Trump about the war with Iran. Let's cut to the live feed.
May Allah awaken the people and help them to see the evil doings of Israel and the United States.
That's right.
He went there, folks. This is going to change everything.
Finally.
This is the moment.
Allah, inshallah, Donald Trump will cleanse the infidel.
Yes, general recommendations. I do have something here. First up, I want to shout out the R.M. Brown Library alongside the R.M. Brown channel itself. There is another YouTube channel called the R.M. Brown Library, which shows the origin of some of R.M. Brown's most beloved drops, we'll say.
That's right, yeah.
Just as an example, bangers like... and
look at my penis.
You want to know what's the context? You go there.
Yeah.
And then I want to recommend a movie, kind of two movies. So I rewatched that movie Caught Stealing. Did you get around to that one yet?
No.
The Austin Butler movie.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should say the Darren Aronofsky movie. Maybe rings a bell more for you then. But,
yeah. No, not for me. Not at this point. But yeah, I do need to watch that.
I really liked it even more the second time. I don't know why it seems to kind of have middling reviews for some reason. I think it's bullshit. It is an excellent movie. I had a lot of fun with it, and Austin Butler rules. So my real recommendation, besides once again recommending Caught Stealing, is to see the movie that really put him on the map, which is Elvis from 2022. I remember seeing the trailer for that movie and laughing out loud at it, like
right,
with ridicule. Like, this looks so fucking stupid and over the top, and it's Baz Luhrmann who's, you know, got that like bombastic, flashy style or whatever that can. But in the case of this movie, I liked it a lot, and I think the main reason is because Austin Butler's performance as Elvis Presley is incredible. Like, it's just amazing. I've got a real I hate to use this word. I should just say crush. I shouldn't have to qualify it. Real man crush on that guy and his talents. He's very good. So check out Elvis. I would say, especially if you were skeptical about it and haven't seen it, but I did. So after I watched Caught Stealing, I rewatched Elvis, and it was even better than the first time. Also, even the Tom Hanks character, who is so grating to watch and listen to, just struck me more as like just purely funny the second time around. So give that a look. See, you got anything?
Yeah, I was gonna say, gotta give a shout out Austin Butler. Let's do it. Let's double down on the butt man. The first time I saw him was playing the love interest on The Carrie Diaries, which was a television series that was a prequel to Sex and the City. And Austin Butler played the love interest of the, main character, Terry Bradshaw, the young Terry Bradshaw, as she moved into New York, and he was one of the first, loves or whatever that like taught her about the coldness and the hardness of what it's like to be living in the city with, dealing with blah, 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 whatever. But even at that point, because he was like young, whatever guy putting it together, he was a child actor kind of guy too. He was like a Disney. Austin Butler was like a Disney Channel kind of kid.
I just found that out myself recently through Wikipedia, I guess.
Yeah, but the Carrie Diaries was like kind of, I guess, the first thing he did that was more like an adult character / like a, a little bit edgier. And you could even see it then that there was, as you said, like a natural charisma / he was the best part of that show. I mean, really.
I believe
really fucking stupid concept, but he was very good at it and just had like a natural like magnetism that made it believable. So yeah, shout out to that too. A guy who made that transition, and the Elvis thing had like some, drama or whatever, but that's the thing where it comes down to it. Like, you knock it out of the park, and you have this whole like, oh, if you did all that, and the people were like, he's like fucking, he was in character, he wouldn't stop being in character. It's fucking obnoxious. And then the movie, you watch the movie and it's fucking trash. You'd be like, this guy's a fucking joke, but you watch the movie and you're like, oh no, this guy like fucking, he killed it. It like you said, it's worth it. So then you go, okay, this guy actually there might be something there. He's not just an idiot who's acting like a dumbass. He actually like committed to it to make art. So pretty interesting.
Totally. And he rules in Dune 2 as well, even though he's like not, he's a consequential character in that movie, but, right. Actually, I would say the first thing I saw him in really is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where he plays Tex.
Yeah, he was good in that
even
too.
In the scene where like he's just getting like beat up by tripping on LSD, Brad Pitt, he has charisma or whatever, like you were saying. Even in these like short little interactions, I think he's the one who gets bit by the dog, maybe in that. But anyway,
yeah.
I think we've fully filleted Austin Butler enough.
Yes. Oh, I was going to fillet the character Tex Watson, the character that he plays from the Manson family, is a pretty interesting guy, So, yeah, look him up too. Look up Tex Watson. Check him out. Pretty cool.
There's the whole Manson murders saga is a very interesting story for sure. It's been depicted a lot. And I've seen a lot of them.
And we talked about the Manson murders for a lot, to paraphrase our king. But yeah, that's it from me, Josh. If there's whatever else.
Well, as I always say,
I'm not Kalshi.
So I can't really predict the future. But I do think that next week there's still there's still going to be a situation where
I got news that just keeps, pouring out of my anus for you guys.
So look forward to that, I guess. And don't forget what Trump just said live on air, really said for real. You might not see it in the lamestream media, but you heard it here first, folks.
That's right.
Check out our Discord. Join the Discord. Go to the show description to find that stuff, and also find links to Tim's other stuff, including your other podcast.
QNCR, we're behind again, but we'll get there. And then check out the VP Violent People 100 has been coming out. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, check that out at violentpeople.co. You'll get all of the stuff that you need for that there. And you just click on the thing and then it's there.
Excellent. All right. Well, that's enough of you and talking. So, as Dell, the inventor of the concept of improvisation, close always says, fall, then figure out what to do on the way down. Good night, good luck, good morning, Vietnam.
Singing the only words you know.
The first voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?
Good to go. Good to go. So, what's up? What spurred the trip to Los Angeles? It seems like kind of quick.
Oh, well,
last min.
I have to be out of this country by April 30th.
Okay.
Legally speaking.
Okay.
So
gotcha. Okay. So that's why.
The plan is to go back and basically get the marriage style visa approved from America, because
gotcha.
The little extension visa thing I'm on now, I guess, doesn't count or something. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's it's all kind of working out so far in a weird way. I mean, my girlfriend's not pissed that we're getting married and that I'm leaving the country for possibly up to 3 months. Could be but maybe more likely a month. But yeah, it's going to be kind of open-ended. But yeah, and then I was looking at flights, and usually the flights to Chicago, every time stop at San Francisco. But they were super expensive because I don't know if you've heard, there's some kind of oil fuel crisis war thing going on.
Heard some stupid stuff about that one.
So flights were insanely expensive. One of them, one of the cheapest ones, the cheapest option was probably about $2,000, and it had 3 layovers and would take a total of 48 hours.
That seems reasonable. Did you ask them maybe they could knock the price down a little bit and you wouldn't have to do as many layovers?
Yeah, I started typing.
Listen, I don't need all of them. Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, the workaround was pretty simple. It's just fly to basically somewhere on the West Coast separately, and then I was why not LA? And in LA was even slightly, I think it was basically the same price as going to San Francisco, but
gotcha.
Yeah, and I figured good opportunity to finally hang out.
Yeah. Go see the Doughboys.
Yeah, I'm pretty psyched about that. I actually tried to buy the tickets last night, and the credit card I used was not being accepted, so I got to figure that out. But
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm honestly slightly worried it will sell out, because they do sell out their shows all the time.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize.
They're a pretty popular podcast. The freaks really come out for the live gigs with them. I think I probably mentioned before when I was rambling about Doughboys, but I kind of almost prefer their live shows in some ways. They're usually pretty great.
Okay. Yeah, my buddy just went to one that was up there where he lives, and he was saying that how it's it's worthwhile to actually listen to their live shows even as podcasts, which I kind of don't do for most podcasts. At this point, I just skip if it's a live show episode on the main feed, I just skip it.
Doughboys is different, I gotta say.
Yeah, so then I listened to the recent one where it was a live show episode, and I was like, oh yeah, this is actually listenable. It's not
if you do a search for John Gabris, just on the Doughboys entire output, he's probably done the most live shows with them, and I love that guy. He's fucking hilarious. Those are some of the best shows ever. Yeah.
I for some reason I don't really like John Gabris that much.
That's too bad.
On the show,
I can kind of on Doughboys specifically.
Yeah, I mean just in general, he's just not. I don't know. I just don't find him particularly interesting. But I also haven't heard a ton of his stuff. I just I think it feels like he came to me. It felt like he came out of nowhere, and then like it's like, oh, is this guy? He's so funny. Everyone's like, he's just the funniest, fun guy, and he comes across a bit like a lot of podcasters like him. They think he's a good hangout guy, but I don't find him particularly entertaining on like the podcast. He's one of those good hang guys. Is how he comes across to me. You know.
I think he's actually pretty funny though too, but like. I mean, I first heard about him through like Comedy Bang Bang, him doing like character stuff. So he didn't really come out of nowhere. Like he like a lot of people like slowly worked his way up through UCB and all that shit. And he does like he just does a million podcasts. He has a ton of his own podcasts or has had in the past, and then he's just always guesting on other ones, but
right.
I think him and the Doughboys are actually a really good combo, especially the live shows when he roasts Mitch in a particularly funny way a lot of the time. But anyway, I'm kind of actually fingers crossed, hoping that that's who's going to be their guest at this show.
Oh yeah,
but
I mean, I won't have an issue with that, obviously. I'll be into it.
They had Stavros appear as a surprise guest at the end of a Gabrus live show not that long ago. That was pretty good. And the joke, of course, was that all of them sitting, like the three big dudes, really giving the stage a run for its money, etc.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I'm wondering now if I like heard him on Comedy Bang Bang and didn't realize, because it's kind of like
he's
passive.
Gino, the guy from Long Island, he's like pretending to do like the sound stuff for like John Gabrus, by his own admission, has only one kind of impression voice he can do, which is like Long Island scumbag.
Yeah.
But the joke about that was that like at live shows or I guess even in the studio on Comedy Bang Bang, he would just reference how he's like rail thin because you can't see him in the audio only. Yeah. I mean, that was just one of the Gino. I'm forgetting the full character name. Gino something. I think that character even had its own side podcast on Earwolf at one point.
Nice.
Yeah. In fact, I know it did. Anyway.
I can't remember if there was something else too that I was gonna talk to you about. Next week can do the podcast, but I might just be a little bit later. But actually, like based kind of on the time that we end up starting, anyways, it's probably just gonna be close to the same time. Just because my wife's going to be out of town, so it's like I got to get home and then I got to walk and feed the dogs, which I actually did tonight anyways, but so I guess theoretically it's not going to be an issue, but it might. We'll see.
Okay. Well,
I mean, this is going to be a weird month for us because she's going to be out of town one weekend, then I'm going to be out of town the next weekend, and then she's going to be out of town again the next weekend after that, and then you're going to be in town the week after that.
That's right. It's coming up really quickly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Got an insane amount of shit to do before I leave.
Yeah.
My girlfriend has even more stuff to do. Like most of the paperwork, like weight is on her because it's essentially she's like inviting me into the country through marriage.
Right.
But
she's getting a mail order husband.
Basically.
A refugee-style husband from the war-torn land of America.
It's not that far off from reality.
Yeah, is she gonna put that in there? You know,
she should. Honestly, I mean, they did. They like fucked with all those South Koreans. I don't know, a couple months ago now, whenever that was in America. Like ICE just like deported a bunch of people for no reason. Well, the reason is they're not white, but yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah, I guess technically. I don't know.
Koreans are technically not white.
I don't know. I don't know where Asians really fall, especially like East Asian, especially not jungle Asian.
I know what you mean. There's definitely some kind of hierarchy there, but these days, pretty much. I mean, they're even doing it to the whites. From I've heard. In fact, they shot and killed 2 of them not so long ago.
Yeah. Yeah, but they were queer or something. You know what I mean? They don't count.
They identified as someone who turns the steering wheel.
Right. 10 and 2, bitch. They were just telling her 10 and 2. You have to have your hands at 10 and 2, and she just refused.
It's so grim.
She would not comply.
That does feel like a year ago already.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I did like that that clip of him, like, he shoots her and then he says, "Fucking bitch," and they like put that out there. That was like his camera on his phone. That footage was from the guy who did it. Like,
it was from his phone, or it was from like his.
Yeah.
It wasn't from like the body cam.
No, that was the thing with that. He was holding his phone, filming it himself while it was happening, and he shot her. So he was holding his phone in one hand, filming, and then shooting her with the other hand. Yeah. That was a whole big thing that people were talking about.
Weirdly symbolic of all kinds of
that
shit.
That was at the time where, like, it was the height of, they were like saying that basically it was like a prime directive from the Trump administration that they wanted ICE agents making content while they were doing stuff. Like, they wanted it to be out there. They were like blatant, which that was what I was saying. It was like a shock and awe thing. We talked about it on the podcast. It was like a big percentage of the whole thing was just about like scaring people into line. It was like they knew that they're not gonna deport every fucking brown person in the world, or shoot every queer white person that supports brown people, but they did think that they could scare them, right? So they were trying to be like as visible as possible. We saw how that worked out. Trump releases jackbooted thugs onto the streets of Minnesota, and they murder 2 people in cold blood. And then that's the small domino, and then the big domino is Cat Abu doesn't get elected. That was the whole point. That was the payoff. Yeah,
that's right. I just realized that that's what happened yesterday.
Yeah, was that yesterday? Jesus Christ!
I mean, I read about it yesterday. It was
earlier.
It was probably earlier.
Anyway.
All right.
Let's play some games.
Let's play. Yeah. Let's test out some drops.
And I'll see you in Valhalla.
It's a little quiet. Whatever.
Hell yeah. That's good. We like it. We like a nice, quiet style drop.
All right. Yeah, let's officialize this bitch. Oh, wait. I didn't write something to say in the beginning. I thought I did, but I didn't.
That's important, usually. Are you writing it right now?
I'm laughing at how stupid what I just wrote is, but you'll hear it.
Okay, good.
Red leather, yellow leather. I can barely do that even once. Okay.
But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?